Hey, everybody, and welcome to the One Lane Road podcast with Lucas and DK. And this is just Lucas tonight. Flying solo on this one. DK had to run up to Maryville and win the first annual carpeted church gym basketball championships. And I had a real exciting guest scheduled for tonight, so here we are. My guest tonight is Thomas Cox. He's the owner of MealFit out of Cookeville, Tennessee. I'm going to give you a little bit better introduction than that here in just a minute, and so I don't want to get too much into it. So tonight we talk a little bit about his business, a little bit about nutrition, a little bit about fitness, a little bit about this, a little bit about that. It was really fun interview for me, really good time for me, real informative interview. The guy's super smart about nutrition and health things. So without talking too much about it, I'm just going to let you hear it. So here it is, everybody. Thomas Cox. Tonight's guest is Thomas Cox. He's the owner of MealFit out of Cookeville, Tennessee. MealFit started out as a meal prep and plan business out of one of Thomas's buddies' ranch houses, and then moved into a church, and then into a 446 square foot kitchen. Has now moved into their own building at 102 North Cedar in Cookeville, Tennessee. And you can check out many of the offerings of MealFit, including diet plans, gym owner partnerships, ready take-home options, and catering by visiting their website, mealfit.co. Thomas, thanks for being with me this evening. Are you recuperating from holiday meals like the rest of us are?
I am, Lucas. I am. I really appreciate having me on tonight.
Yeah. We've frequented your establishment. You've cooked supper for us several times, and we've always enjoyed it. And if anything was as good as what you cooked for Christmas, it'd been hard to quit eating, buddy.
No, it was. We did it a little bit. We got to cook some stuff and then take it down to Birmingham. So it was good. We had some. My nephew, Jordan Walker, he loves our pulled pork. We have really good pulled pork and homemade barbecue sauce that we make, and so he really enjoys that. So I made up a batch of that. We took it down there to him. So
well, good deal, man. Kind of have several topics we'd like to talk with you about tonight. First, I think, why don't you give us a little bit about your background?
Well, I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. Dad was a coach for 37 years, I think. Wow. And I was gonna play ball, coach football the rest of my life, and that was kind of the deal. Well, we did that for a while, and it was great. And then coached high school football a little bit, and then coached some college football for a little bit, and really enjoyed both. But just felt the Lord pulling me out of it, and so we got out of it 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. And then when we got out of it, I started working at a church. Well, shortly thereafter that, a guy walked into my office, Greg Canada, and he said, "Hey, will you help me figure out what to eat?" Well, let's backtrack a little bit. So during that process of being at Tennessee Tech and coaching, I got involved with CrossFit. Well, at CrossFit, they really force nutrition down your throat. So I don't have a nutrition degree or anything like that. I'm more self-taught than I am anything. Right. And so that's where our wisdom and our knowledge has come from is a lot of just reading, a lot of experimenting on myself, all those different types of things is where what we do comes from. Mm-hmm. And so we started doing meal plans, and then you fast forward a little bit, we've had thousands of clients in 25 different countries on just our meal plan. And then obviously, like you said before, we do really good in catering. We've got great options for like people that are meal prepping. We've got some take-home options for people that just want to have a meal that they can eat that's healthy. And then also our MealFit salads, which is very good. A lot of great options if you're in downtown Cookeville during the middle of the week.
Boy, so, you really filled a hole. You really filled a hole with that after salads and more left out there, didn't you?
You know what, we did. And Miss Diane was very instrumental in helping us construct that and do that. And so that was a lot of she was a lot of wisdom on that. I called her many a day, many a night, asking for advice on how the best way to structure that thing was. And she was a lot of help. So that's us.
Yeah, that's good. I believe I read that you went to the school at University of Alabama, didn't you?
I did. I went to UAB in Birmingham. Mm-hmm. Loved playing there. Loved the experience there. Got to live in a downtown setting for 5 years of my life, and it was a lot of fun. Don't know that I would ever want to raise kids there. Don't know that I would want to encourage my kids to do some of the things that we did, but it was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun doing it, and I made a lot of lifelong friends down there. But yeah, I love Birmingham.
Yeah. So what was it exactly that you did study while you were there?
Lucas, I've got a history degree. I've got a degree in absolutely nothing. The reason I had a history degree is I knew what I was going to do. From the time I was a kid, I was going to go coach football.
Right.
That's what I liked. That's what I did. That's what I knew. And obviously the Lord changes our minds on certain things and brings things in our lives. And so, like I said, I have a degree in absolutely nothing. I have a history degree, and I have a master's degree in education administration and sports management. So again, I have a master's degree in absolutely nothing. So it does zero for anything that I do. I mean, it's just I got a paper that says I went to school. And
isn't it funny how you wind up not doing anything you went to school for? I kind of did the same thing.
Let me tell you something. I learned more outside of school and in an apartment and then on that field and being out working than I did in the classroom. I'm not discouraging people to go to college because it's a good thing. But
there's a lot of life lessons you can learn playing sports, organized sports of any kind, that you just don't get anywhere else.
I totally agree. Yeah. Totally agree.
Well, one of the first questions, and you kind of touched on most of it, was how did you come up with the idea for MealFit? So you said that a lot of people are coming up to you, but when did you actually decide to go ahead and try to turn that into a business?
Well, when people started, sending me money in the mail, telling me they want to do meal plans, so I figured this could be kind of a pretty decent business.
Yeah.
And so honestly, nothing we do is new. We don't have a silver bullet that can make people thin or make people fitter. Yeah. We have a plan, and we give people advice and give people a plan on what we feel like has been good for us to help them succeed. So nothing's new. Well, everything we've done, we've stolen. There's an old saying: "Good artists copy and great artists steal." That's right. And so we take the information that we've learned, and we try to put our spin on it. And we take a lot of things and we put the MealFit spin on it, and it's been good for us. We've enjoyed it, and we've had a lot of people enjoy what we do. Yeah. So,
well, that whole meal prep, that kind of business just really exploded everywhere. You started seeing that on social media with a lot of those professional athletes and bodybuilders and stuff popping in there. And you coming up in the Upper Cumberland, we really love to see new businesses grow and thrive in our area. And with MealFit, it kind of seems like you hit that niche market up there because that huge CrossFit population that's up there.
Right. And to be honest with you, Lucas, a lot of my population, the people that do prep, is not a CrossFit population.
Oh, really?
It's not. It's family people. It's moms. It's dads. It's a guy that's trying to help his kid have food because he's got a high school football player. It's a mom of two that's a nurse that is entering a figure competition. It's Big Bobby, who's a world-renowned raw bench presser. We've got Bobby Bett, an unbelievable man. Yeah. We've got all these different sects of people that are using our service, and I'd love to say, well, this is who this is for, and I can't say that. I mean, I've got the guy sitting next to me in the car right now. He's got a family of 3. He travels a lot. His wife works full time. They use it some, and they just use it for dinner. Because when she gets home at 6:30 and he's in Florida working, and she's got 3 kids to feed, baths to take, and kindergarten's got to do homework. I mean, it gets overwhelming at times, and that's the thing I think we can do for people is we can give them time. Mm-hmm. We provide a service, but what I'm providing for you is I'm providing you time, which in my opinion is the most valuable commodity on the planet. Warren Buffett, the richest man in the world, to the homeless guy living under a bridge, have all got the same amount of time. It's how you spend your time that's most important. And I feel like with MealFit Prep, or really any of our services, to be honest with you, Lucas, that's what we're giving people. We're giving them help. We're making their life easier, but we're giving them time.
That's a beautiful way to look at it, man. And as well as I do, I'm a new father, and boy, whenever you got those kids at home, any time, any extra time that you can save and spend with that family, boy, that's worth more than any amount of money out there.
Oh, there's no doubt, and you can't explain that to someone that doesn't have kids, right? Is when you have children, you start to filter everything through a totally different set of glasses.
Yeah, and I've been telling people that same thing because logically, before you have kids, you know what people are saying and you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, but until you have that child in your hand, you really don't know what they're saying.
No, you're clueless, and then not in a negative way.
Yeah, right.
You're just clueless.
You just don't know at that point.
Exactly.
You know, it really, once I started hearing the name MealFit, it kind of seemed like you just skyrocketed, but almost never is it a straight path when you come to entrepreneurial endeavors. Did you have any kind of entrepreneurial experience before you started MealFit?
Well, when I was in middle school, I used to go buy gum and candy at Sam's and sell it at school, but that's really about it. No, Lucas, I was going to be a ball coach.
That's just it, right? And
that's what I was going to do. The goal was to be a Division I head football coach, and you know, obviously, like I said before, the plans got changed. So I never had. I mean, I even looked at my dad sometimes, like, well, what else would I do? And you know, but it's been hard, but it's been fun. I'm enjoying life. I enjoy my own boss. So if I need to go fly to New Jersey and get something, I can go get it like I did today. Or if I need to go take my kid to a play, or I need to go take my kid to lunch, or I mean, you know, my wife needs me to go do X, Y, or Z. I can go do that. Now you've got to be wise on how you handle things, and you've got to be creative with your time. I think the number one thing that I've learned the last year is creating time for the things that are most important. I'm a very, very strict scheduled person. I'm an early riser, and I go to bed relatively early. I mean, that's 9:30 to 10:15 window typically, but I'm an early riser. I get stuff done before my kids get up because I don't like working when my kids are up.
Right. So. Well, what kind of roadblocks could you really tell us from your experience that we might be able to steer some other small businesses away from that they're going to encounter?
Being stupid. That's the biggest roadblock. Is not knowing the things that you are, not knowing what you don't know. Right.
And that cash flow is a big thing too. Whenever you start a small business, not knowing exactly where your cash flow is at, and that's a big thing that sinks small businesses right off, isn't it?
There's no question, and I think that's where you have your quote side hustle. You know, where you've got your regular job, as I like to say, your big boy job.
Yeah.
And then you've got your part-time thing that you enjoy. And so the part-time thing, the thing that you enjoy, is something that you do when your kids are sleeping, or when that's where you create that extra time. Whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the afternoon, whether it's in the night, whatever it is, you create that extra time to do your quote, your side job, your side hustle. And so I think in my opinion, the best way to create a new business is to be as debt free as possible. We are totally debt free at MealFit.
Ooh, that's nice.
And so. I don't say that to be arrogant or to be bragging, but that's just the way we structured our plan. Now, could we have grown faster and had, you know, franchises and different things like that if we'd have taken on, you know, lots of debt and had, you know, investors and things like that? Yeah, probably. But number one, I wanted to do it debt free, and number two, I wanted to have total control over what we did, how we did, and all the things that we did.
Well, that's a beautiful place to be in. You know, if you've been stuck at a job and your goal is to get out from under, you know, not that a boss is a bad thing, but if your goal is to get out from under a boss, it sure doesn't pay to have to take on an investor early on and be beholden to them right again.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I think that the biggest key I can say is you got to find something that you love to do. You know, and just because someone is with an employer or has a boss does not make them any lesser of anybody else, someone that doesn't.
Right.
You've got to do something that you love. If school teachers love teaching and they're fine with what they're making their income, rock on.
Yeah.
You know, but if I think there's always different streams of income which you can create. Like in my opinion, if you're that salaried employee in that $35,000 to $55,000 range, I think multi-level marketing is a great business to get into, whether it be Advocare, Zija, you know, all these different types of things that you can do. I think those things are great because what they do is they give the a normal 9 to 5er, time to create another stream of income on the side. Well, when they create that other stream of income, that's when you can start doing more things, and you have those funds in order to help you in the business that you absolutely love and want to see do the rest of your life.
Awesome, man. Well, let's talk a little bit about what your business offers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but MealFit centers around paleo and zone diet offerings. Is that right?
In a way, yeah. Look, we've kind of morphed more into just being more real food based.
Yeah. As
opposed to, being labeled paleo or labeled zone. Mm-hmm. We've got a strict paleo zone plan. We've got a 90% plan, which is mostly paleo. But to be honest with you, Lucas, we're more real food based.
No, I got you.
I mean, if it had a face and a soul, eat it. If it grew in the ground, eat it. That's kind of our thought process, and that's really has a lot to do with paleo.
Yeah.
But it's not we're not total paleo.
Right.
We're, like I said before, we're real food based, and so we want to make sure that everybody understands that we don't fit into a box.
Yeah. Well, that paleo term really doesn't fit in a box anymore anyway. There's so many different styles of paleo, and people are calling so many different things paleo now that really aren't. And and there's even like Mark Sisson. I don't know if you follow Mark Sisson any at all or not, but he
primal.
Yeah, he even went primal with his, because he took out a few things that mainly around saturated fats that he didn't quite get. Paleo kind of shuns those saturated fats sometimes, but he kind of likes to dig into them.
I agree.
There's a lot of fad diets and chronic misinformation out there just regarding nutrition all around. How do you push people towards the right things to try to get those preconceived notions of nutrition out of their mind?
I think the biggest thing people have to do, Lucas, is they have to be patient and experiment with themselves.
Right.
I think it doesn't get any simpler than eating real food, real meat. Beef, chicken, steak, pork, and then vegetables. The green vegetables, red vegetables. Orange, yellow vegetables and things and fruits that are just, again, you can take it out of the ground, put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
So just real food. If the Lord created it, it's going to be really, really hard for it to be totally wrong for you to ingest. Now, granted, there are some things, there's always exceptions to every rule, but we can just stick to just eating normal, real things. I think that's where we can be successful.
A lot of people tend to shy away from different color foods. You was bringing up all the different colors there. Those really do have different nutrient dense factors and a lot of different nutrients in them whenever you start, mixing up the color of foods that you're eating. And a lot of people miss out on that. If you're not eating those, beets, and you're not eating those, was it purple cabbage and stuff like that, you're really missing out on a lot of good nutrients and nutrient-dense stuff.
Oh, there's no doubt. I agree totally with that.
Now, do you push a lot of saturated fat in your diet, or how do you feel about the fat scenario altogether?
I don't. I personally am more of a lower carb, higher fat guy.
Yeah.
That's just where I thrive. But I try not to push that on people. I tell people I am more than happy to help them experiment in that. But I don't want to push people to do something that I say this is the gospel and this is the way it is. The only thing I think is the correct way, again, is to eat real food. If you can live by two mottos the rest of your life, I think you'll live a healthy and fulfilled life, and that's eat real food and move.
Yeah, movement.
If you can eat real food and you can move every day, you're going to be successful physically.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, your movement needs to vary. If you're 24 years old and your movement is walking 2 miles a day, that's not what I'm talking about. I think you need to stretch your system. I think you need to lift something heavy. Mm-hmm. I think you need to get out of breath intensely. I hear a lot of people talking, well, I walk so and so. No, intensely move to get out of breath. Intensely move to stress your system. Because if you can do that, it makes everything a lot easier. It makes life in general a lot easier. And so those are the two things I think that I want to leave people with is eating real food and moving every day is something that we all can benefit from in so many ways.
Yeah. And the other thing is the sugar. If you could give up sugar, that would save a lot of wear and tear on your body that people just don't realize that they'll get caught up with it everywhere. Sugar is just in absolutely everything, and if you could get rid of that and move, boy, it's going to make a world of difference in your life.
Oh, there's no doubt. In my opinion, soda, Coke, which is laden with sugar, is the cigarettes of the new generation. Back in the 40s and 50s, people were the thing that everybody did was smoke. Now, the thing that seems to be real popular these days is soda or Coke. Well, same people that were advertising and sponsored people for cigarettes back then, Marilyn Monroe, Hank Aaron, Ronald Reagan, all those people. It's the same people these days are being sponsored by Coke and Pepsi and things like that. Everybody from Beyonce to LeBron James to Taylor Swift to all of these different stars. They're one of their largest bill payers, I would say, all these soda companies. And if we can, like you said before, if we can eliminate that sugar out of people's systems, that would be what would help these issues of inflammation and gut. All these people don't realize how uncomfortable they are because they just got used to feeling crappy. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And the one of the things that's real. Cokes and sodas are obviously the hardest thing for people to give up now. It's just like you said about cigarettes. People never thought they could give up cigarettes. But, one thing a lot of people do is they tend to swap over to that diet version of their favorite drink. But that artificial sweetener is not doing them any favors either. It's not quite the benefit everybody think it is.
Oh, I agree totally. The artificial sweeteners in some ways are worse because they're so chemically based. And the thing that people don't realize is that it's got no calories. Yeah, it doesn't have any calories, but what it's doing, it's still giving you an insulin rise. It's still your body's still producing excess insulin, which you then in turn become insulin resistant. When you become insulin resistant, that's where you get type 2 diabetes. Yeah,
I was gonna say probably Diet Coke's probably giving more people type 2 diabetes than anything has.
Oh, I agree. I agree totally.
Now, what about stevia? What's your feeling on stevia? Because you hear that it doesn't spike your insulin in your body. Your body doesn't have that same sugar response to it. What's your feeling on that?
I stay away from it because it's chemically made.
Yeah.
They say it's from a plant. I get it. It's from a plant. But it's so processed that, if it sits on the shelf for 6 months and you can still eat it, it's probably not very good for you.
That was my feeling on it too, because I'd tried it a little bit, but one of them little bottles lasts forever, and if it don't rot, it probably ain't good for your body.
There's no doubt. It's again, I'm not saying that stevia is going to cause everybody to have cancer.
Right.
They're going to die next week, but it's just something we choose to stay away from. And I just didn't have a good feeling about that from the research on it.
Yeah.
It's processed. If we can stay away from these items that are, like I said, don't go bad and are processed, I think we'll be more successful in life in general.
Yeah. So what would, if you were starting somebody and you were just giving them a target macronutrient split, where would you set them off at?
I wouldn't. I would not. No, I wouldn't. I'm not. One of the things I tell people is eat when they're hungry and eat real food.
All right.
If you want to get specific, you had somebody. You sit there and you go, well, what are they coming from?
Yeah.
I would tend to be more on the lower carbohydrate diet, not like a sub 20 grams a day, but in that 20 to 30% range on carbs. So that's just an opinion. But I think that if we could stick to something that will be lower in the carbs and moderate on the protein and moderate on the fat, I think we'll have more success.
Yeah, and a lot of people are missing out on that, not eating a lot of fat because, there's been so much disinformation on fats into your body. But all those fats really modulate your hormones inside your body and make you feel a lot better whenever you're eating them.
The worst thing we've done in society is label a person that's obese by the macronutrient fat.
Yeah.
I tell the story all the time.
That's a good point.
You wouldn't look at Rich Froning and call him protein, would you? So why are you going to call the lady or the man that's 350 pounds? Why are you going to call them fat?
Yeah.
And what that does is that gives
a negative connotation to that word.
Negative connotation to someone that's overweight to a macronutrient.
Yeah.
Well, it's like this. The biggest thing we've got to do is convince people to stop calling people fat. Like we don't call it. My kids don't say fat, skinny. They say fit or unfit.
Right.
That's what we say. And when they do say it, we correct them. But if we could get people out of calling obese people fat, it'll help. It's like, I use this example when I give talks. Is, if your wife was to come to the makeup counter in the mall, and I was sitting at the makeup counter, I wanted to sell her this lipstick. And this lipstick was the most amazing lipstick ever. It doesn't wash off until you want it to. It doesn't get on your glass when you drink. It tastes good. Your husband loves it. It will adapt to the color that you want. And I gave all these positive things, and she said, "Great, sign me up. I want 2 sticks of this lipstick." And then she said, "Oh yeah, by the way, what's it called?" And I said, "Well, it's called ugly." Well, perception is reality, and you're not going to buy something that's called ugly,
right?
Mm-hmm. And so, it's the same way. You're going to stay away from things that are labeled fat because you've been so indoctrinated to think that if I eat, the whole saying, "You are what you eat." Well,
right.
If I eat fat, I'm going to be fat.
And that couldn't be farther from the case, really.
Couldn't be farther from the truth unless you're combining a high-fat diet with a high-carbohydrate diet. And when you combine a high-fat diet with a high-carbohydrate diet, it's like, gas and matches.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make a great combination.
And that's the only thing that's been recently shown to really provide or to point towards cancer is that particular diet. High-fat, high-carbs is, from recent research, is very cancer-causing.
Yes, and I would even tend to agree more. Just simply any kind of high carb diet would be just because of the race of insulin and inflammation in your body. Inflammation is disease, Lucas. I don't care what anybody says.
That's exactly
inflammation is disease.
Yeah, and one of the things here I was going to say next is when a person's kind of making the switch to that paleo lifestyle, their body starts using mostly goes from using sugar to fat. They get what's called the paleo flu, and that a lot of that is that inflammation leaving their body, and a lot of that's that sugar going away and the fat starting to get used. But after that goes away, people really do feel a lot better, and they don't realize how much better that they didn't feel bad before until all that's gone out of their system.
Right, and they start feeling bad. It's like heroin. I've had relatives that have been addicted to drugs and alcohol. When they come off the booze or come off the heroin, the crack, or whatever, what happens is they get sick because they're going through withdrawals. Yeah. Sugar is the most addicting substance on the planet. And so when people come off that, they get that, like you said, paleo flu. And the thing is, your body doesn't start adapting and burning, quote, fat for fuel until about 8 to 10 to 14 days. Right. People think, well, I just burn fat. No, you don't burn fat. It's processed and it takes a while. Yeah. But you're right. When people get that feeling after they come off sugar, it's a very, very sick feeling. The first thing they want to do is go feed themselves with more sugar so they get rid of that feeling. Again, it's just like a drunk. Drunk is so drunk that he gets, feeling bad, feels awful, feels like this. What's he want to do? He wants to go drink some more. It's the same exact thing with sugar. Yeah. And, a lot of people talk about the clarity difference, the mental clarity difference that they get whenever they start burning fat for energy. And I don't know this to be the case or not, but I always thought that was probably inflammation in their brain, probably in their brain tissue, that was causing that mental fog that we just couldn't see. I agree, and I think it's also a feeling of satiety, because typically when people have a lower carbohydrate diet and a higher fat diet, their satiety is higher and they're not always hungry. There's nothing more distracting than being hungry. Yeah, I'm like right now, I'm starving right now. I'm ready to eat. Right. So those things right there will help you clarify your thoughts and clarify your actions. Yeah. And there was another idea floating around out there that I've kind of been bad on, is the if it fits your macros idea. That never did make sense to me, because people will use that as an excuse. Well, I didn't have any, I still got 40 grams of carbs or something left in the day. And so they'll go eat a bowl of cereal or something like that. So I just never did like that idea of if it fits your macros. I always thought that was something that was steering people south. Right. No, I know Anthony Cavallo very, very well. Yeah. The guy that owns it, FIM. Yeah. Great guy. Done a great job at marketing. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there, Lucas, that think, calories in, calories out. Yeah. And you eat below what you expend, you're being successful.
Yeah.
And I go a step farther and say it's not as much about the calories in, calories out as it is about the biomedical happenings of your body. What is your insulin doing? You know, what is it doing internally to your body? You know, because your body gets to a point where the sugar cannot be dispersed anymore. When your body runs out of insulin to disperse the sugar in your body, what does it do? It stores it as fat. So those types of things are issues that a lot of people don't address when it comes to the whole calories in, calories out.
Yeah, and it's a lot of quality in, quality out is what it really should be.
Here's the thing, that you would not put, you know, the same gas that you put it in even a Mercedes as you would put in a $700,000 or $1 million race car.
Oh, right.
It's a different quality of gas. Even though Mercedes is a beautiful and a nice car, you still wouldn't put it in a, you know, the race car that you know, Jeff Gordon or Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to drive. It's a different quality of fuel. Yeah, it's the same thing with what we're eating.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna throw some 93 in a Mercedes and some 116 oxygenated in a race car.
There you go.
I wanted to ask you too about gut bacteria and gut health. Do you ever play around with like probiotics or prebiotics even, or you know the some of the other foods out there like kimchi and cabbage and stuff like that? Do you mess around with that much?
I've experimented with probiotics a little bit. The biggest time we use probiotics in our home is when we've got a sick child,
right?
And we've expelled ourselves of all the good stuff. But that's really the only time we've experimented with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, to be honest with you, I just don't know a whole lot about it, and that's probably bad on my part, owning a nutrition company.
Right.
But I just don't know a ton about it.
Yeah. I met you a couple years back at the Ag Pavilion up there at Tech. You had set up, and you know that home show they do every year. You had a booth set up there, and that's the first time I'd met you. You're in spectacular shape. Are you a CrossFitter, or what kind of weightlifting regime do you do?
Well, you know, I think it all goes back to genetics. I think genetics plays a huge part. My dad's a very, very large man.
Mm-hmm.
Signed a free agent contract to play with the Dallas Cowboys, so obviously got genetics on my side.
Right.
I worked very, very hard from the time I was in about the 8th grade, all through high school, all through college. I've enjoyed lifting weights. I was a heavy, heavy lifter in high school and college. Even through my time there before I found CrossFit, I've run 4 marathons. And so I've got the endurance thought process. I don't really love that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I don't know, about 7 years ago, we picked up on this CrossFit thing. And it's helped me because it's efficient as far as time is concerned. You know, whether it be my strength movements or what they call Metcons, it helps me get out, do what I said earlier. Get out of breath intentionally get out of breath and lift something heavy. And so I enjoy CrossFit now. Do I totally do CrossFit and am I doing a Metcon every day? No, I'm not. But the bulk of what I do from a workout standpoint is CrossFit related. But I enjoy it.
You said earlier that you was working at Tech. Did you? I think Rich actually worked over there for a little while doing strength and conditioning with the team, didn't he?
Yes, he did. That's where he got in. Started working at the university, and that's where when he was working at the university, I was coaching football.
Okay.
So that's where our paths crossed.
Yeah. What years were you at Tech?
2007 to 2007, 8, 9, 10, 12, 2012.
Wow, very good. I probably run into you a time or two up there and just didn't realize it.
There you go.
One of the things that I saw on your website, and you know, I spoke to it a while ago, is that you're partnering with gyms now. For a small monthly fee, a gym owner can partner with the MealFit, and their gym members can get a substantially reduced price on some of your services. That's a really good deal, man. How'd that come about, and what's your reception been like on that?
Well, and I get a chance to coach at our gym here in town, CrossFit Mayhem, and I really, really enjoyed that. But one of the biggest questions you get as a gym owner or a gym coach is, you know, you get these different types of people. You get the 3 different types of people in the gym. The one guy is gonna ingest everything about nutrition and go home and in 6 weeks going to know more about nutrition than I do. Then you get the one guy that's going to eat McDonald's and eat Pizza Hut and Papa John's regardless of what you say. And then you got the one guy or girl that goes, look, just tell me what to eat. And gym owners don't have enough time to just sit down with everyone and just say, this is what you eat. So that's where we come in. What we do is, again, we're providing that time to the gym owner and that service to to the client of providing the detailed meal plan for the clients at the gym once the gym owner pays the small subscription fee. It takes it off of the gym owner, puts it on me and on the client, and it's a guide that helps them answer the daily question in CrossFit gyms all across the world is, can you just tell me what to eat?
Right.
So we answer that question for them.
Well, you know as well as I do that the old adage is that abs are built in the kitchen. And so as a gym owner, whenever you've got clients coming in, if they're not seeing real gains, or, I hate to use the word gains, it's kind of a buzzword now, but if they're not seeing the real gains, they're more apt to not come back, and you're more apt to lose that membership fee. And so if you can help them in that little way like that, and that's not a little way, but if you can help them in that way, I mean, you've got more of a chance of keeping that person in there too.
Well, what happens is people that use our plan, they make money. I think it's just providing a service. They're making money because if Susie comes into your gym and Susie's working out, she's going to see some results. But if Susie comes into your gym and she's working out and she's doing our, Susie will see a drastic change. What is Susie going to do? She's going to Snapchat, she's going to Instagram, she's going to Facebook, and she's going to talk about how pleased she is and how excited she is that she fits in her new clothes and how she spent $500 shorts because all of her clothes don't fit anymore because she's lost this much weight. MealFit was not going to get the credit, and I'm fine with that. The gym is going to get the credit. But when Susie starts talking about how awesome she looks, who's going to come up and want to come do what Susie's doing? Jenny or Jennifer or Elizabeth is going to want to go do what Susie's doing. Well, that's where these gym owners make money, is because when they couple the working out at your CrossFit gym with the diet that we provide, they will get results. And when they get results, that's where the owners will see the results in their pocketbook from creating and gaining more members, because people sell themselves. When people make drastic changes in their bodies, A, people notice it, B, people like to talk about themselves.
Yep.
So that's where the gym owner will make money off purchasing our service.
Yeah. Another thing about those CrossFit gyms is it's got a real feeling of community in it too. I mean, it's that intense nature of working out, but having that person there beside of you going through that same pain that you've got going through, and so that's kind of infectious too. And that's just I was just thinking about how that can spawn more and more for each of you as MealFit and as that gym owner. It just hit me like that was such a perfect marketing ploy there. It's beautiful because it snowballs on both sides.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
it's great. And here's, I heard a guy say, you notice if you change your workout routine, you'll notice a difference in your body in about 6 weeks. If you change your diet, you'll notice a difference in your body in about 3 or 4 weeks. If you change your exercise and your diet, you'll notice a difference in 1 to 2 weeks.
And that's infectious as it comes.
Oh, listen, it's like a drug now.
Yeah.
It's like a drug. When you start getting results.
Yeah, that's the drug everybody needs to get hooked on instead of this sugar like we was talking about. You talked a while ago about you've run some marathons and did a few things like that. Have you ever thought about competing in the CrossFit Games or anything?
Nah. We did the CrossFit Games. We competed in the CrossFit Games as a team.
Yeah.
4 years ago, and had a great time. I enjoy lifting weights and working out. There's a master's division now. My buddy and I were talking about that earlier. It's a lot of time invested in that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that I want to take the time away from my wife and kids, number one, and then my business, number two.
Right.
Because you got to sleep at some point, especially if you're training. If your volume goes up, you need to increase your
sleep.
Your sleep.
Yeah.
And I don't really care anything about increasing my sleep right now, to be honest with you.
Well, we're kind of coming to a close of 2016. Is there anything new in the works for 2017 with MealFit or Thomas Cox that we can be on the lookout for?
We've got a lot of things going up. We've purchased a vehicle for the business, and so we are going to explore transporting some of our food to different locations, possibly Nashville, maybe Chattanooga in the future. Also, we've got a handful of things up our sleeve that we're going to roll out here in 2017 that we're really, really excited about. We've also started some actual physical products that we've created. We've got our first physical products, which sounds really, really simple, but it's a silicone stretch lid that will be, in essence, a top for multiple sizes of all those square lids that you've got in your drawers that you don't have a top for.
Yeah.
And so we've created this actual physical product that helps with that. And we've had a lot of positive reviews on Amazon because we're selling those on Amazon. If you just go to Amazon and you type in the search bar MealFit, our silicone stretch lids will come up. And they're a great, great product for any home, especially if it's a home that is trying to meal prep and trying to do the right things healthy from a healthy standpoint.
Yeah. And now that the holidays are almost at the end, there's a lot of people that's actually strayed away from their fitness path. Believe it or not, there's a lot of January 1st resolutioners. Can you give us some pointers on getting back on track with your diet and fitness once you strayed away?
2 things. Have a plan.
Yeah.
Whole30 is kind of the hot thing right now. I think it's a great, great plan. I've done it myself. Whole30 is good. The thing that's stressed with that thought process is having a plan. We've got a Whole30 plan on our meal plans that we can help you with. It will give you a detailed grocery list, exactly what to eat, how to cook it, all those different types of things. If you go to our website, go to MealFit.co, to MealFit Plans.
Mm-hmm.
That's number 1, is have a plan. Number 2 is use your willpower at the store, not at home. So don't buy the crap and think, well, that's for my kids. No. Make changes. You got to make changes slow. You know, I use the adage all the time. If you're driving a jet ski in the lake, you can take that jet ski go really fast and turn that thing really fast, and no one really falls off. But if you've got a big ocean liner and you turn that thing really fast, people and things will fall off the ship. You don't want your family to fall off the ship of a healthy lifestyle. So turn that thing slow. Don't go home tonight, kick the door down, and say we're going to eat healthy. We're throwing out the Pop-Tarts and the cereal right now. No, get rid of those things, but make changes slowly so that so healthy eating does not have a bad connotation to your kids and to your spouse.
Very good. That's kind of my list of questions for you, except for we've got one more question here that we usually ask of everybody. Thomas, what's the most embarrassing song on your iPod?
Oh, most embarrassing song. I'm a huge Katy Perry fan, so I would say all this Katy Perry stuff that I have on there is probably the most embarrassing.
That was literally mine. That was literally mine too. Katy Perry. Katy Perry's my weakness, man. I can't get past her. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today. For all our listeners, you can contact Thomas and get all the information on MealFit by going to his website again, mealfit.co. It's not .com, it's .co. Click on the Contact Us link, and you can send him a message, or you can also click on the links to their social media pages from there. If you want to go directly to their social media pages, you can search for MealFit, all one word, on Facebook, at MealFit on Twitter, at MealFit.co on Instagram. They're on Pinterest at Pinterest.com/MealFitCo, no period in there. And you can find them on YouTube by searching MealFit to watch videos on workouts and nutrition. Thomas, thanks again for coming on with us, bud.
Lucas, I'm happy to do it. And if anybody has any questions, you can email me directly. My email is thomas@mealfit.co. Again, that's MealFit is spelled MEALFIT.co. That's Thomas@mealfit.co.
Thanks, bud. Thanks for coming on again and sharing so much information with us.
Got it, Lucas. Anytime.
Yeah. All right, there you go, everybody. That was a particularly fun interview for me, since we talked about the things that I'll spend my free time looking at, reading about, researching, and things like that. So that's a very good time. Thanks a lot, Thomas, for coming on and talking to me. Hopefully we can do that again one of these days. Don't forget to check out mealfit.co for Thomas's website. Again, that's MealFit is all one word, MEALFIT.co. And don't forget to go out and support us. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Most of them you can search OLR Podcast or One Lane Road Podcast and find just about any of it. And you find us on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, everywhere. All right, guys, that's the end of the show. It's going to be a short one for you this week since I'm by myself. Not going to be a lot of banter, not a lot of back and forth. So thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week.